Hey, friendos, and Larson, and welcome back to News Brief. Steve, he's under the weather, and then rather than have him come in here and potentially infect me with whatever is ailing him, he's convalescing at home. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. If not, at least be feeling well enough that we'll try to do this remotely, telecommunication and stuff. Sorry, can't talk. Anyways, a lot of crazy stuff going inside Titan Towers these days. We talked end of Thursday about how WWE let go co-presidents George Barrios and Michelle Wilson in a bit of a shocking move, and the Wall Street's response to these firings, terminations, releases, whatever you want to call it, was swift, and pretty much the WWE stock price went straight into the toilet. So Tom Calahoo, over at Sportskeeda is reporting that, quote, these releases were made due to lack of a big picture thinking present in those two being Barrios and Wilson. Tom continues, this is according to sources who have worked close to both. Reports from inside the WWE head office explain that while this did not come out of nowhere, there was a number of negative encounters between Vince McMahon and his co-presidents in the buildup. He continues, quote, the upcoming financial reports are not expected to be as negative as believed, though there are reports of NXT's move to USA being made with no additional TV deal for the company. And then in conclusion says, quote, WWE management are said to be very aware of the impact of their decision on the stock market, and adding, Calahoo did on Twitter, adding that a source told him, quote, they're scrambling. There was no plan when it happened. We can all see the drop. Now, when this news came down that two members of the upper management were somewhat surprisingly let go with no rumblings of any sort of discord or issues in the upper management of WB. And then you hear that they got a reports call coming up on Thursday, I believe. My first thought was these financials are going to be real bad, and they're kind of cutting that off at the pass by letting the two of them go and hoping they can kind of change the narrative, as if to say, and I guess Calahoo's report saying that both Barrios and Wilson, at least in Vince's eyes, were guilty of lacking big picture thinking. So that when the numbers come out and they're hot garbage, then Vince can point and say, well, that was the old regime, if you will. We're looking to get some fresh blood in here to come up with some new ideas. But at the same time, like, they're swimming in money from two massive TV deals. They're making a ton of money from the Saudi Arabia arrangement. And even if, like, the house show business is completely in the garbage, I don't know how bad it could really, I don't know. Like, from the purely financial perspective, it should be okay. But maybe all the ancillary or criteria outside the main column of all the big money they're making is just not looking good. So while they're making tons of money, it could be a situation where the perception is the company's popularity is waning, and they're not appealing to that prized 18 to 49 demographic anymore, because if you look at the TV demos, like, their audience skews way older than AEW does. Over at Bloomberg on Friday, they reported this, hence the title of this video. WB stock continued to plummet all through Thursday and into early Friday, and still going down, with the drop so precipitous that Bloomberg reported that, quote, World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. plunged as much as 28% on Friday, erasing more than $1 billion in market value after chief executive officer Vince McMahon ousted two of the company's top executives. They lost $1 billion in one day, and if Tom Calahoo's report is to be believed, there was no plan as far as what to do once they let Barrios and Wilson go. Yet they were aware of the impact their decision would make on the stock market. It seems like typical Vince thinking, where it's like, okay, I know it's going to happen. I have no plan as far as how to deal with what's going to happen. I'm just going to do it anyways. He even short-term books his own business. So yeah, I mean, I right now their stock is at $46.08. It's down almost $3 from the opening of trading today. So if you're, granted, I'm no financial consultant, no expert in the stock market. That being said, if I had the means after Thursday when that financial report comes out, oh man, I'd pony up and get some shares, especially if the financials are bad. Yeah, that's going to be a value. That being said, don't take my financial advice. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just seems like it'd be a good deal to me personally, but don't take that as any sort of good financial advice, all right? That's not my area of expertise. Anyways, moving on. Could make some quick money, though. Anyways, this is interesting. So apparently, NXT is telling their talents not to do all sorts of stuff. So last week we talked about how there's apparently some sort of meeting where NXT talents were told by someone there, hey, I don't know if it was explicitly stated in reference to the Matt Riddle, Brock Lesnar situation, but more or less they were told, don't mention main roster superstars in your social media posts, like unless they're cool with it, essentially. Well, following that meeting, which of course, contents of which were leaked, there was apparently another meeting at the Performance Center, according to Fightful, where the talents there were told to, quote, not talk the dirt sheets. And then also, quote, one source previously unfamiliar to Fightful and NXT said, they reminded me that I'm a contractor, then tried to tell me who I couldn't talk to, so here I am, before reiterating issues with crowding at the PC. I don't know why, I understand they want to keep things under wraps, but by telling people not to talk, they're probably going to talk. I mean, it's based on my experience, generally what happens. Apparently, also at this meeting, they were telling the wrestlers there, you're independent contractors, so make sure you have health insurance. And then I guess that rubbed people the wrong way. That was kind of the gist I got from Fightful's report. So, I understand what WWE want to kind of keep a tight lip on the inner workings and news within their own promotion. That being said, people, especially when they're frustrated for a variety of reasons, whether it be apparently NXT with overcrowding at the PC, and with that comes fewer opportunities for people. People sign on with WWE, especially NXT, because it's a hot thing, thinking they're going to get opportunity, and being stuck on the Florida house show loop for years and never being on TV. And then, of course, that problem is only vaster on the main roster, where the roster is huge, stacked with amazing talent, and there's only so many spots for people on the weekly television broadcast. So as we're hearing with the Revival late last week, they apparently turned down huge contracts, upwards of $700,000 a year each, and are apparently just ready to move on because I guess they're just tired of being within the larger WWE machine, where it seems to be pretty easy for someone who's immensely talented to kind of get lost in the shuffle. So it remains to be seen what comes of all that. As far as a Raw preview, there's only one item announced thus far, and that's Randy Orton set to explain why he attacked Edge last week. And the reason for that, while there's only one entry on the Raw preview, is that it kind of seemed like Raw might have been in doubt today because apparently there's a massive snowstorm going through Utah. Raw is emanating from Salt Lake City tonight, and I think they were expecting about 12 inches of snow, and the governor thought it might get so bad they'd have to start closing some roads. And of course, if you're closing roads and you're expecting a huge entertainment event to happen somewhere in the city, it's hard for people to go to attend said event. However, the venue for tonight, was it the Vivint Arena? Home of tonight's Raw, stated on social media. The show will happen despite the heavy snowfall. So even with the potential blizzard at hand, the show will go on. Raw will happen tonight. There was some rumblings of maybe limited roster members in attendance. No update on that. Ricochet and Montez Ford were posting some videos on Twitter in the snow. I'm assuming they're in Salt Lake, so I would expect them to be there at the least. But as far as the crowd, the turnout, who knows? Who knows who might be there? If it's going to be a half-empty arena, remains to be seen. It'd be kind of fun if it was an empty arena. They had every match happen backstage, all backstage brawls. force their hand to be a little creative. That could be good. Anyways, that's it in news for us. Or for me. There's no Steve here. What am I saying us for? Thank you for joining us, everybody. Hopefully we'll be back with regular programming. Both of us at the desk tomorrow. If not, we'll do it remotely. You'll have a Raw review tomorrow for sure. That being said, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.